every movie has random trivia. And here at Trivial Theater, I explore some of these movies and the random circumstances that make them the weird creations that we love. Hey fam, welcome to the absolutely banger affair known as my 25th review. Ow! Shit! Where did that come from? That's quite the light show. Anyway, this week's movie checks all the boxes. It's both one of my all-time faves and is a pretty awesome good-bad movie too. Without further ado, this is... What was that? This is Masters of the Universe. Once upon a canon film logo, on the planet of Eternia, a small band of resistance fighters fight to regain a stronghold of power known as Grayskull. I wonder where they got that name. They're overrun by guards in amazing codpieces, ruled over by the absolute evil that is... Skeletor. Pulling what looks like a pretty epic rock album cover, Skeletor claims victory. Only one cape-wearing hero is left standing, the one and only He-Man. He's forced to retreat with allies Man-at-Arms, Teela, and Gwildor. Using a cosmic key, they plan to open a gate into Grayskull's throne room to save the sorceress, who holds the key to turning the tide against Skeletor. They are unsuccessful and get pulled through another gate into a faraway land. In the meantime, we meet Julie and Kevin, a normal set of Earth teens dealing with normal Earth teen problems. The cosmic key separates from He-Man and ends up with them. After He-Man and his crew attempt to communicate with a cow, we learn that apparently Eternians are at least part-time vegetarians.
Those are rib bones.
You mean this used to be an animal?
Mm-hmm.
And so begins a search for the cosmic key. Skeletor assembles his evil dudes to track down the key and take out He-Man. We witness an epic sword fight that isn't actually all that epic, but a follow-up firefight that actually kind of is. He-Man then proves to be a really good therapist.
Are you alright? They're gone now. You're safe. You're safe. Do you understand?
As the forces of evil retreat back to Eternia for reinforcements. Kevin shows off his fancy new synthesizer, and then antagonizes a cop who takes the cosmic key. Skeletor's second-in-command, Evil-Lyn, comes along and pumps him for info. Then Evil-Lyn departs in a huge ship that somehow He-Man and crew miss as they arrive at the same location. The big guns are called in, and we find out that Skeletor knows how to make an entrance. He-Man may not have his iconic ride in this one, but who cares, cause dude flies with some serious style, engaging in an epic game of chicken, where he comes out a cut above. Oh. Shit. Where the fuck am I? Ah! Whoa. I'm all three-dimensional. Well, I guess on with the review. Our heroes are snuck up on by a big crazy ship and ambushed. Julie is shot by Skeletor, and after a more epic sword fight, He-Man surrenders his sword to Skeletor to save his friends. They return to Eternia, leaving Man-at-Arms, Teela, and an injured Julie behind. The only cure is on Eternia, so to save both He-Man and Julie, they have to find a way back. But they have a busted cosmic key, and this right here is what you would refer to as the all hope is lost part of the story. Luckily, it doesn't last, because after some fancy DIY work, they manage to get back to Eternia, taking the angry cop, have a car, and some lovely greenery with them. In the meantime, Skeletor, having taken the power of Grayskull, upgrades to a much more fierce look. In the final knockdown drag-out fight, we learn that bullets do the same amount of damage as lasers, and He-Man finally does his iconic He-Man thing. Skeletor and He-Man face off with spotlights in the background, cause that always makes a fight classy. He-Man breaks Skeletor's staff, destroying his fierce new look. Wait, that's all it took to finish things? Well, okay. Skeletor gets yeeted into a pit with an 80-yard scream that makes me smile. Julie and Kevin are sent home, the sorceress is restored, the cop is no longer angry, and He-Man regains his epic cape. All is right with the world. Until an end credit shot that shows us the possibility of a sequel. More on that later. So Masters of the Universe is an amazingly cheesy slice of 80s effects, storyline, and over-the-top characters. And I absolutely love the nature of the costumes in this movie. The fact that Gwildor's disguise isn't the craziest getup in this movie is awesome. Evelyn and Blade both had outfits that weighed 40 to 50 pounds, and Evelyn couldn't even sit down in hers. Side note, there aren't enough movies that employ codpieces the way that this movie does. Costume designers, take note. Another fun production note is how the miniatures left over from Blade Runner and Ghostbusters were used to fill in some of the background on the Earth set pieces. This movie doesn't lack for talent. You've got Dolph Lundgren, Courtney Cox, Billy Barty, the list goes on. Of them, Frank Langella, who played Skeletor, looks like he's having the best time. He even wrote some of his own lines. Dolph Lundgren, on the other hand, regretted playing what is essentially an action figure. Oh no, not again! Damn it, that tickles! I've always been intrigued when scenes with obvious mistakes make it into a movie, and I think this one may be my new favorite. So Mattel, the company that owns He-Man, said that he couldn't kill anybody on screen. The compromise was all the evil soldiers would be robots, because you can clearly tell the difference on screen. By the way, the body count is 43. Mourn in your own way. Cannon Films, the production company behind the movie, was known to be crazy tight with their budgets. They actually stopped production 3 days before the scheduled end date because of financial difficulties. It didn't pick up again until 2 months later. There was a sequel in the works. In fact, it had been written and cast, sets had been built, and costumes made. But when Masters of the Universe bombed, it was cancelled. Additionally, Cannon had originally planned to make a Spider-Man movie, but instead the budget got split between Masters of the Universe and Superman 4. After both movies tanked, Cannon declared bankruptcy. So since the mid-80s, a lot of cartoon and video game properties have been adapted for the big screen. And then, just like now, they don't always follow the source material very well. I don't care if you're talking about Super Mario Bros., Resident Evil, or Transformers. Masters of the Universe is a great example, and as much as I love it, there aren't many things that connect the cartoon to the movie. He-Man feels more like a side character in a story that's more based around the Earthlings they encounter. This isn't bad, but had I only watched this, I wouldn't understand anything about the universe that He-Man inhabits. And all of this is actually because the movie was based solely off the toys. The production company that made the cartoon had absolutely no part in the making of the movie. That means no Prince Adam, no Battle Cat, and no Ferendis. I think it would have been cool to see a version based on that, but what can you do? Okay, really? We're gonna do this again? So reruns of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon were one of my faves as a kid. I found the movie quite a lot later, and despite the differences, it still stands as a fave. As goofy as both are now, and as much as they were just there to sell toys, they helped me find a love of creating from an early age. To this day, I kinda still get goosebumps when I hear both versions are worth seeking out, and make for a fun drunken Friday night in. Real quick, I just wanted to drop a massive thanks for all the channel support thus far. You guys rock, and you keep me striving to make this content better. So what do you think? Suggestions for movies, trivial questions, comments, ratings, and an explanation as to how fur underoos would even work would be appreciated. Thank you for watching!